What is up, Sooner Nation? Yeah, I don't know if you guys heard over at the Oklahoma City Chicken and Pickle. I destroyed Jay in a little pickleball action. Not surprising, but we're here tonight. We got Connor Stallion joining us as well, but appreciate you guys being on the Sooner Surge Double Trouble. Yes, I do have a mustache. I was Ted Lasso today at school, so that explains that. But welcome back to another edition of Double Trouble. Lots to talk about with the Bedlam matchup on the horizon. I, for one, have put the Kansas debacle behind me. I'm excited about this week and what it holds. The college football playoffs are out, and lots to talk about, Jay. If you guys aren't subscribed, make sure you do that first, and then let's get to it.
Yeah, thanks, Mark, for joining. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, the rankings came out, Jeremy. OU sitting at number 9. They're not in a bad spot, really, when you look at it. And you look at the 3 teams at the bottom ranked there in the top 25, all being from the Big 12, especially OSU and Kansas, both being ranked as big for OU. Listen, you got to go dominate OSU, period. And I see the comment here from Easton about Georgia isn't one. I think last night I said I thought Ohio State would be one, and they are. Listen, Georgia wasn't ranked 1 last year when the first rankings came out. It's because their schedule, they don't play anybody yet. Now, if they went out, they're going to be 1. But right now, they're not. And number 9 for OU's in a great spot. Listen, very rarely do teams go undefeated in college football. Teams are going to fall, guys. OU keeps winning. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, you look at teams ahead of OU that there's some that automatically are going to lose and take care of each
Boom,
other.
Lori.
Sooner. Yeah, hey, OU really needs to move up 5 spots. Now, really, when you start looking at it, though, OU just got to play better football. Let the other things take care of themselves. BV had his presser today. We can talk a little bit about that. But, yeah, on the playoff, look, Georgia, in my opinion, if I'm ranking them, Georgia's number 1 until they lose.
Yeah, I think the Ohio State win over Notre Dame really kind of put them at number 1. But, like, the thing is, the committee loves Oregon, too. I mean, Oregon I kind of thought maybe Texas would be – I don't know. The Texas-Alabama OU ranking is weird. You got 7, 8, 9. You got Texas, who beat Alabama but lost to OU. So I understand some people are putting Texas above OU, but then why not put OU at 8 above Bama? Because the team they lost to beat Bama. I don't know.
Yeah, Easton saying against LSU because they still have a chance. LSU is dangerous, guys.
They're going to beat Alabama this week, I think.
LSU, and OU needs LSU to beat Bama.
I agree.
OU needs Kelly to get that Louisiana accent down so that he can get there and just take care of them Bama Crimson Tigers. I mean, that's what needs to happen. Mark, the stats did not grow overnight. So, Mark, what happened is I'm an English teacher.
Is it real?
It is real. I'm a high school English teacher. It was dress up day at our school. I was scrambling for an outfit, so I had to go Ted Lasso, shave the beard, keep the stash. My wife's not happy; she wants it gone. But
that's 2 nights in a row, Jeremy.
Beard back.
2 nights in a row, you're not making your wife happy.
Nope, that's not.
It's not a good sign, man.
Hey, let's talk about the comment from. Remind me of who it was, Jay, about Michigan. That this is not a playoff issue, it's an NCAA issue.
Well, that was Boog, I think, that said that. However you pronounce his name, I don't remember how you pronounce it or how it's pronounced, but and it is, though, Jeremy. That's the problem with this. Is the NCAA will not act on this very quickly. It's not going to happen. Even though we find out today that Connor's over in Central Michigan early on this year trying to scout for against Michigan State. What a joke. It's getting worse and worse, man.
Bama's definitely got a chance to get in the – hey, if Bama wins out, they're in. I mean, bar none, there's no way they're not in. I mean, their only loss would be Texas, and frankly, if they went out and beat Georgia, they deserve to be in. But let's talk also – here's the comment. Thanks, Hunter, for rolling this up here. As we went through, that really wasn't part of any of the discussions. I don't see how that's not part of the discussions myself, but whatever. Let's talk a little bit about BV's presser, Jay? What stood out to you from the presser?
I mean, I think they've all watched this Kansas game now. I do think what you're going to see this week is a different OU team offensively. I really do. I think they're going to come out swinging. They're going to come out throwing. Uh, I mean, Venables basically roundabout way said that they should have thrown the ball down the field more, and they missed some opportunities. So I don't think you're going to see anything similar at all to what you saw against Kansas. It's going to be come out throwing the ball. I think probably 70-30 passing game to run game this week, if I had to guess. And then you got to stop. He talked about tackling a lot. How the tackling last week was just roach. It was horrible. And he said we just were awful in the tackling. So I think that's and listen to some of the players this week. They've really harped on tackling. It's a big deal. So and he also blamed himself on that again. He's really taking a lot of the blame on himself. So.
Yeah, I think if you look at the comment about when he talked about OU fans being pissed, he basically said they had a right to be. Now, you could take that as two ways. You could take that as, look, they deserve to be upset when the team doesn't perform, or you could take it as he's also not happy with maybe some of the offensive play calls. Now, is that looking too much into it? I don't know.
I don't think so. Hey, Stubby, how are you, man? Thanks for joining. Hey, what he said today basically about the OU fans, though, about they should be pissed, they have a right to be pissed, is almost a little bit different than what we heard last night from Dabo Swinney going off on somebody. I mean, I know it's a different situation. Yeah, Richard, injury report. We thought about releasing one tonight, but we're going to wait a few days just to make sure we've heard everything that's being out there. Venables did say today in his presser that Stutzman he thinks is going to be good. Stutzman's telling him he's good, but he says it's going to be closer to a game time decision. And then you got Gentry Williams that should be back. So I will say that Tolly Walker, I haven't heard anything on him. I don't know if he's going to play.
Yeah, I've heard nothing on Tolly Walker and nothing on Marcus Major. So by Thursday, I think we should have an idea. There'll be some more things that'll be posted out there as well. But yeah, I mean, I think the one everyone's wanting to know is Danny Stutzman and Tolly Walker. To me, Rouse was banged up. Now, he did hint at maybe the line still being somewhat of a rotational thing.
Well, he said they're going to keep playing guys there. He believes, I think, I don't know his exact quote, but Venables said, I believe in playing a lot of guys there, which is, me and Hunter were talking about this earlier. It's kind of surprising because usually at the offensive line, you want the chemistry to be there, right? And you don't really need as much rotation there. But maybe, I mean, we'll see. I think they're still trying to figure out some things. It sounds like the Bird situation, just the penalties and stuff he's getting, he's very frustrating, I think, to the coaches. I think what's going on there.
And what Easton, thanks again for joining us, Easton. Appreciate all you guys that are on there. Keep rolling the comments. We appreciate you guys as our viewers and community here at Sooner Surge. Yeah, Easton. And the other thing is every player to a T has talked about the impact that Danny Stutzman makes on the field as far as basically getting him in the right places. He is BV 2.0 on the field. He is the guy that can coach. They don't have to look to the side. He pretty much knows every play like the back palm of his hand. I mean, the guy is a film guru, film geek. He spends a lot of time doing that. So not only is he a best tackler, stopping the run, he's also our best leader. He's also the coach on the field. Have to have him, I think.
Did you listen to the press conference today? And viewers, did y'all hear it? What about the question John Hoover? John Hoover, man, that guy will ask the questions, man. He asked the tough ones. He brought up the Texas game and about reading their clippings and all the videos they put out. And Venables kind of said, yeah, I don't believe that at all. He brought up the UCF game, the first 4 possessions. He goes, were we thinking too much about Texas on the first 4 possessions when we shut them down? So he goes play by play. He sees the mistakes they make. He doesn't think with this team that's the issue. So I'd be interested to know what you guys think on that, viewers. If you think they're still reading their clippings or if that was just the last 2 games, though, like John Hoover said, the last 2 games, they haven't looked good.
No, and I again, we can get into and hash this out as, we do this a lot, but there's so many things. And BB's talked a lot about attention to detail, and I think they're going back to some of the basics this week with tackling. I think they're going to go back to some of the basics fundamentally and some things. But look, DG's got to take the shots when he gets them. If there's a play call that has a deep shot, he's got to do it early. He's got to do it often. OSU's secondary is not elite. That's something you got to take advantage of if they're going to try to stop the run.
Yeah. And Stubby's right. The cornerback issue and guard, both those issues have been huge injury issues for OU this year. And Gentry, when he's been in there, he's been awesome. I mean, with turnovers, with tackling, whatever it may be, coverage. But he has missed a lot of time off and on. And that's been an issue because they're very young. They're very young on the cornerback room. You got guys like Kenai Walker, Josiah Wagner, Makari Vickers. You're just very young in that role. And that is a huge thing, him being back, for sure.
And guys, Gentry's been arguably as good as Woody Washington this year when he's been in.
He might have been better than Woody.
So losing Gentry was enormous last week, and something that probably isn't talked about enough. I think as OSU, look, it's a last Bedlam matchup. The tickets right now are outrageous. The cheapest ticket you can almost get in for is $400, and people are paying upwards of $6,000 to $10,000 for a ticket to this game, which is just unbelievable. I'm curious to see how many Sooner fans are going to be in attendance. I know there's been sites that OSU fans are saying don't sell your tickets to Sooner fans. Should be interesting. Paddles will be swinging. It's going to be a great atmosphere. The weather's going to be top notch for November.
Yeah, it looks great. Well, and look at OSU's schedule after this game. They don't play anybody. Houston, UCF, and BYU. Chances of them being ranked at the end of the year are very high. So you got to go out and win this game. It's going to look really good on your resume at the end of the year. So you have to do it. And really, I think somebody said it last night on our live, you have to dominate some of these teams down the stretch. You can't be pulling out close wins down the stretch against some of these teams. I know the OSU game will be tough, but when you go to BYU and you play TCU at home and West Virginia at home, you need to destroy them. You need to destroy them big time and make a case for yourself to move up in the rankings. They're not going to move you up for a 2-point win right now. It's not happening.
Yeah, viewers, I see Stubby here. Thanks again. First NFL caliber change OU's head corner that they've had in a while. I mean, it is.
He's the best since who?
Best since who? Drop it in the chat right now. Best cornerback since who?
To me, he's the youngest cornerback that's been this good in a long, long time. I mean, a long, long time. Trey Brown's doing really good in the NFL, but I don't think he was ever
better. Gentry's better than Trey Brown.
That's what I'm saying. Now you got Parnell Motley. His last year was pretty good, and then you got was it Norwood? He was pretty good, but none of them.
Derek Strait was great. He had Derek Strait his freshman year. What
about Aaron Colvin?
What?
Aaron Colvin.
Aaron Colvin was good. Parnell Motley.
Sanchez.
You had Jordan Thomas. You had, there's been some good ones, but Derek Strait to me takes the cake. Maybe Zach Sanchez. He's saying.
I think he means Zach Sanchez. Yeah.
Zach Sanchez, right, Ray? Zach Sanchez. Hey, you just mentioned something. Someone in the comments mentioned it. I got to go back to it. And it was, quarterbacks. I think Hunter and I talked about this. Quarterbacks are not. You don't see quarterbacks audibling anymore. It's always from the sideline.
Doesn't happen.
And what's strange is, you got these guys who are on the field playing the game. Maybe they can see some things, but they are not allowed to audible anymore like it used to be. I don't know what has changed so much, but Baker, I think, audibled a couple of times, but a lot of times quarterbacks nowadays, it's all look to the side and see what the coaches are going to give you. That's a good point that was made about quarterback calling the game.
Yeah, and Stubby's talking about no NFL caliber players at cornerback. How does OU do that? It is a weird thing. I think partially, Stubby, is it going back till probably when Brent was there before, you haven't had any great defenses. And if y'all remember right, this is a different year in the Big 12. When you look at, there's the running backs, you got Brooks at Texas, you got obviously Ollie Gordon. Some of these backs are kind of the bell cows of these teams. It's not the quarterbacks anymore in a lot of these teams. If you remember back in the day when you had likes of Bradford, Chase Daniel, I mean, you could name a bunch of quarterbacks that were throwing all over the yard. Maybe a lot of top caliber defensive backs just didn't want to come play in the Big 12. It seemed like I don't know, maybe I'm wrong on that, but they just didn't get they didn't have a whole lot come through OU that were like, I would say, top NFL caliber as young as Gentry is. Like some of them developed and made the NFL.
Yeah, I think that Ray's saying Brandon Whedon from OSU. Brandon Whedon, as far as what calling plays,
well,
he was like
quarterback
32.
probably.
Brandon Whedon was like 32 years old at OSU, wasn't he?
He was
Who
pretty
was
old.
older, guys? Who was older, Brandon Whedon or Chris Winkie? They were both in their 30s in college, weren't they?
Yeah, Perry Ellis hasn't beat though.
I mean, I know this mustache makes me look older, but those two guys were unreal age in college football.
Yeah.
And I know Hunter Sooner Surge put on here about Trey Norwood. Trey Norwood was a ball hawk. He just had a knack for the ball, nose for the ball. So that's, I mean, he definitely was one I remember making a lot of big plays for OU in the secondary.
Yeah, Jeremy, you feeling pretty confident this week going in?
I'm feeling really confident. I'll tell you why. One, I didn't think OU could play bad 2 weeks in a row. There is zero chance they're going to play bad 3 weeks in a row.
Well, if they play bad this week, then that's who they are.
That's who they are.
That's the way I'm looking at this week. If they come out and lay an egg this week, that's who they are, guys.
As Denny Green said, they are who we thought they were. And if that's what happens this week.
And Levy's got it. And if you go look at Levy's history, they're going to throw he's going to call a great game this week, because go look at his history. He's so up and down. And I mean, if he has a bad game, go back to SMU. Horrible called game. What was the next game? TU destroyed. Looked great. First play went deep, right?
Yeah. Is it Stubby that talked that had the comment about, look, if it ain't broke, don't change it. Like, if it's working, stick to it. And I don't understand why they'll go to a play that works once and we won't see it again for 4 weeks. Like, sometimes these offensive analysts and gurus that go too much to the numbers and to the books and to the analytics. Just look at what's happening on the field and go do it. I mean, if Nick Anderson is one-on-one coverage, I'm going to him. It's not a difficult concept. Ollie Gordon, yeah. Look, someone said Ollie Gordon is their whole team. He absolutely pretty much is. I'll take my chances with Alan Bowman all day long. You got to stop Ollie Gordon. I think Ollie Gordon, man, best. I mean,
viewers, what do you think on this? I know who I would pick. Who would you pick, Jeremy?
Oh, man. I'm not going to say he's even close to Barry Sanders, Thurman Thomas-esque. So
who would you say? Are you saying somebody like are you saying the guy that went to the NFL?
Maybe Chuba Hubbard. Yeah, maybe Chuba Hubbard, but I think he's better because he's
better than Hubbard. He's better than Jalen Warren. He's who was the guy in between those that went to the he went to the Ravens, I think. Hill or Justice Hill?
Justice Hill, but they also did have a guy who went to the Cowboys. Who was that guy? Got in trouble stealing something?
Yeah, who was that?
Viewers, help me out. Who was the guy he was pretty special?
Yeah, he was really good. I can't remember his name.
Cannot think of it. He wore number 1 in Dallas, I think. I'll know it when I hear it.
Was it Kendall?
No, it wasn't Kendall. Help us out, guys.
Somebody help me out. I can't think of it. Hunter, maybe you can look that up.
I'm pretty sure he got caught stealing something at the bowl trip they went on.
Well, that wouldn't be the first guy from OSU.
No, what is that guy's name? He was pretty good. So, Jay, who do you think? I think it's Hubbard. Now, Blackman was a receiver.
Blackman was a receiver, Jackson, but he was great. Maybe it is Hubbard. He's better than Hubbard, though, Jeremy.
He's bigger than Hubbard.
This is going to kill me that I can't think of this guy's name.
What was Ollie Gordon's speed?
Ollie Gordon. Joseph
Randall. There it is. Thank you, Hunter. Joseph Randall's it. He was pretty good, guys.
He was good, but hey, here's what Ollie Gordon's got that none of those guys had. He's got power and speed, and that's the difference.
How many's OU going to have to load in the box to stop him? I think that's the key. Stubby, we got it. It was Joseph Randall.
Hey, Hunter, are
Yeah,
you
that's
saying
funny
that this
because they
is?
suck so bad. That's
Are you
true.
saying this is Ollie Gordon's 40 time 4.45?
I didn't know he was that fast.
If he's that fast, he's going to be drafted very high.
If he's running a 4.4, if he's running a
Wow.
4.45 40, look, I think OU is going to have to maybe look. Can OU man up? Now, here's the problem: they play a lot of zone. OU plays a lot of zone. Is this the week they go a little man, more man on the outside? Because you've got to stop Ollie Gordon first and foremost. Can they do it with 6 in the box? They're going to need 7 or 8. That's the key.
Well, Venables did kind of call out the defensive line again today on his press conference, just about how they played against Kansas. He said they basically got their butts whooped against Kansas up front. So I wouldn't expect that again this week, but we'll see.
What a great
like you
point.
said,
Hey,
Jeremy.
that's a great point. OU is coming. Was that Easton that had that? Yeah, Easton. Thanks again, Easton. OU's played 2 straight games where the pre-snap, there's more movement in the pre-snap routine than movement than you see all year from some teams. I mean, it's been crazy the confusion and chaos that those teams can cause. OSU will not do that. It should be a lot more sound fundamentally, and that's a good point. I think the defensive line will be much more aggressive. As to that, that's what Easton's saying as well. I think you see more run blitzes. Have to.
Yeah, to me, you got to go down swinging against Ollie Gordon. And if Bowman beats you, more power to him. I mean, really.
Le'Veon Bell, that's an interesting comparison too. That's a good one.
That is a good comparison. Bell, and that's great because when he says a faster. If you remember, Le'Veon Bell was a very patient runner. Really waited on
Gordon
things.
is also.
Yeah, he is. He is.
Their line is underrated, guys.
Yeah, their O-line's been playing. They've been playing really well. That's what Venables said today.
I don't know who's blocking Trace Ford, but they better double him. I think Trace Ford's going to penetrate in there all night long.
I would love to see that this game. And he's been so close on interceptions and stuff. It'd be great if he could get a sack fumble or something this week.
Hey, here's one thing I promise you. I'll guarantee to all you guys right now. Mike Gundy probably won't run any trick plays. He probably won't ever go for it on 4th down. The guy coaches with his head between his legs against OU. That's been his MO in the past, and I think that's what he's going to do this year. OU's got to be the aggressor. BB in the presser today said, we have to be aggressive mentality. He said it. If he says it in the presser, he's preaching it all week.
Well, and they need to come out there, and I know we've all been saying all year they got to get the running game going. This isn't a running team. You have to go out there and throw the ball 70-30. That needs to be your percentage. I think it needs to be at least 60-40, probably 70-30. I know you got to try to be balanced, but this team's looked better when they've thrown the ball, period.
And Ray, great point. I think you can play OSU pretty much like you played Texas because you had to stop Brooks in the running game. And OU held him under 100, did they not?
Well, he had a few in the second half. He kind of got going a little bit, but
I agree with Hunter here on Sooner Surge. Less than 150 is the magic number, I think, too. If you hold him under 150, you're winning the game.
I had to ask this question last night. Viewers, drop them in the comments here. Do you think that OU holds Ollie Gordon under 120 yards? I think that's his low for the Big 12 right now. Will they hold him under 120? Yes or no?
Hey, it's obviously going to be a tough game. Bedlam is always, you never know what you're getting in Bedlam.
Yeah, and Easton says he thinks we're going to be really aggressive as well. Richard says, no, we do not hold him under 120. 140, Richard says.
I'll take 100. Would you take 140 right now?
Yeah, because I think you win the game.
Well, because here's the thing. Bowman's not going to run for a lot of yards.
No.
He's a sitting duck back there.
He's a sitting duck. Yeah, and Clark says that you got to stop calling plays like you're scared. They need to come out there and be the aggressive. Hey, the rankings are out. OU's 9, okay? They got to come out here, do like they did back in Sam Bradford's year when they lost that game, and then the next 3 or 4 games hung them 70 up and just dominated people, and it changed the eye test on OU that year. And that's the same thing this year. We're playing for eye test now. A lot of these college football rankings, you go beat OSU by 1 point, yeah, it's a good win. But let's go destroy them and move up the polls.
Yeah, I don't see Timothy on here. I don't know if Timothy's on here. If you are, give us a shout out here, Timothy. But I know Timothy asked a question about our video last night about posing some question about DG. He has another year. That was an interesting thing. We can maybe get to that at some point, but key is not the total yards. Granite guy says, yeah, I obviously, if you let him get chunks,
chunk plays you can't have.
OU's in a heap of trouble. If he's getting chunk yardage, OU's in trouble.
I agree. And I think what Timothy was asking on the question was, DG does have another year. If he wanted to come back, would you take him back, or is it time to give it over to Arnold? Listen, DG's not coming back, okay? He's pretty much said that. I know he has another year, and I don't know if he said it or they said it, but Arnold's the guy next year, in my opinion.
Well, for sure. And DG,
I think DG's done playing football. I think
DG's hinted at it, and also the coaches have hinted at that this is his last. I mean, it's almost like there's this unwritten rule.
Is he going to make a roster?
I don't
know. Viewers, is DG going to make a roster in the NFL?
I mean, I guess he could as a backup or a practice.
Is he?
I don't think he is.
You don't think he'll be drafted?
He's also got his business ventures that I think he wants to pursue.
But you don't think he'll be drafted?
I don't think he'll. I mean, he'll probably be drafted 5th round, 6th round. Don't you think?
He'll probably be drafted. And Easton says, no offense to Easton, we've talked about this. No offense to DG, but he missed a lot of guys that are wide open. And to me, that is his biggest problem. He'll be looking at a guy, and if he's not open, you look down the road, you got a couple of guys running free.
Hey, and not just that. If you're a gun guy, why would you ever be scared to pull a trigger unless you just don't trust that your arm's going to get it there? I mean, he's not a quick trigger guy. He doesn't pull it quickly. He's got to see him open pretty, you know what I mean? He's never been a big risk taker. So all those things compile to say there's an issue with Levy and DG, I think, in that area.
I could see him, though, in the NFL holding the clipboard as a backup and for quite a few years. Look, Chase Daniel, guys, has been in the NFL for, I don't know when he played college ball. Somebody looked that up. Chase Daniels was eating boogers back in, I don't know how many years ago that was, where he was eating boogers on the sidelines, but he's still in the NFL, I believe.
Trent Dilfer and Brad Johnson won Super Bowls.
Mark is right. The arm strength. He does throw his body into the deep. I mean, listen, just watch him and Jackson Arnold warm up. It's different.
Guys, DJ, a great comparison. And I know everyone wanted to hear it. A great comparison is Josh Heupel. Josh Heupel and DG are very much the same with arm strength. They're about the same. Heupel had to throw everything into it too. Heupel didn't throw the prettiest ball. He was accurate as all get out. I think Heupel was better at seeing the whole field and making progressions than Gabriel is.
Yeah, look at a guy like Brock Purdy, though, Jeremy. I mean, he's the last draft pick. Look at him now.
Yeah. I mean,
would you say he was a great quarterback?
Brock Purdy was pretty good. He had talent. He had arm strength.
But he was not that great in college. He was decent.
Heupel was a 6th rounder. I thought he was higher than that. I didn't know that.
No, but he didn't make the squad. I don't even think that Dolphins.
His height is a hindrance. And look, that's part of the issue this year. When you throw slant after slant, you're going to get him batted down. He can't see very well. I mean, some of his best plays this year is when he scrambled and was able to see the field better.
Yeah, and they're right about Purdy. He's starting to kind of come into his own now.
3 straight losses by the Niners. I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, and Mark, bingo, 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 beep, 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 beep. Right there it is. DG never throwing over the middle is a red flag. And I think you could partially look at a few things on it. Maybe it is not trusting the arm. Maybe it's the height, seeing over those guys. I mean, who knows? But it's never been a strength of his. The biggest strength to me DG has is he's accurate on the deep ball. He's pretty accurate on the deep ball.
And look, like Easton says, when you don't utilize the tight end, look, if a quarterback is a guy who's struggling to get the ball down the field, you got to have a safety valve. You got to have someone you can drop it to. We don't do that. Stogner, maybe 1 or 2 times a game, will get a look. They did run that play for him last week, but it does seem like we don't utilize the tight end like we could. And obviously, we're not super talented in that area. You got Devon Mitchell coming next year. If Devon Mitchell's not utilized, then we have the most idiotic coaching staff known to man.
Yeah, and Devon Mitchell's a guy that's probably going to come in and start. He's that good. And here's a question, Stubby. Appreciate the question. Are we worried about next year going into the SEC? My answer would be no, Stubby, and because I think the trend is up. If you look at the players that we're bringing in, every year BV is bringing in better talent. So I think in that aspect, I think we're getting more SEC ready. Listen, this team still has some people that have been around a while on the old. There's still some people that I do think they need to be stronger at linebacker. I mean, as far as more physical, they got to get more physical at linebacker. I think.
Yeah,
I think the defensive line too, but they got guys coming in.
Jackson talks about trusting the receivers more. Obviously, need to. You got to. I mean, they've proven themselves. It's not like they're dropping balls. It's not like they're not going up and making plays. They are. I agree with Teague. I wouldn't mind seeing Stogner getting 1 or 2 targets a game, and that is crazy to think that Devon Mitchell is supposed to be in high school again next year. But if you've seen the guy, his hands, it's unreal, and his size. I mean,
yeah,
he can start next year.
Yeah, and I want to talk about this that Stubby said here about recruiting is better, but we're giving up a lot of points. But listen, I go watch SEC. I mean, Alabama, they've given up some points this year.
It was Kansas, though.
I agree it was Kansas, but I don't know. I have to go look at the stats, but look what LSU's doing on defense. Have you watched them this year? They're horrific on defense. Are they not?
They're bad.
They're terrible. They're terrible on defense. So I don't know. I think OU's in a decent spot moving to the SEC.
And I think
it's a 12-team playoff next year.
Yeah, it's a 12-team playoff. I think if OU wins out, which is, look, right now it's a big ask. It's a big ask for OU to win out. But if they do win out, I think they're going to be number 5 teetering at number 4, just depending on what happens and what shakes out ahead. Look, Ohio State or Michigan, gone. One of them, probably, more than likely. Oregon or Washington, gone. There's 2. Okay? Alabama, possibly, gone. There's 3. You just need 2 more teams.
Texas.
Texas would be gone. So you really need 1 more to take care of it.
Florida State.
Maybe the ACC, Florida State.
To me and Hunter talked about this earlier on the video we recorded. This OU making the playoff, if they win out, it's going to hinge on Florida State. I really think so because the Pac-12 is getting a team in. It's probably going to happen unless chaos happens. The Big Ten's getting a team in unless chaos happens. So SEC's getting a team
no need to apologize. I agree. Stubby, no need to apologize about being negative. I've been very negative the last 4 days.
I don't.
It's not acceptable. Very much so, Stubby. So be negative. That's fine. We should be after that performance.
Yeah, and I think all OU fans have a right to be negative. But listen, moving on, let's go dominate, right? That doesn't mean I'm not going to cheer for OU, but we can question things that we're watching. There's nothing wrong with that.
Granite guy, Braden Willis is heavily missed. Not just in blocking. The guy was elite.
But they don't even run the same offense.
I agree. But, Jay, you go back, Braden Willis, you go before Braden Willis. There's 2 things that were staples in this offense. It was tight end. It was H-back.
Yeah, but it's a different offense, Jeremy.
It is. I agree it is. But
they need an athletic tight end in this offense. Because some of those passes that Stogner catches, if he breaks 1 tackle, he gets like 12 or 15 yards. It's one-on-one, mano-a-mano. Break a freaking tackle and get the yardage. And he's not doing it right now.
And they're going with him, which is strange. Obviously,
I am rooting for USC. I don't know who said that, but I am rooting for USC over Washington.
Hey, we would be a different team with Braden Willis. I agree with that. Jackson, you question this year's offense more than last year's. There were the games last year where the offense looked just like it did the last 2 weeks.
This is the same, pretty similar
offense.
You were
scratching your head like, what is going on?
Yeah, and I did see that, Mark, Gabe, and Teddy for sure.
What?
He mentioned how negatively the RPO is to an offensive identity and O-line aggression.
Well, Jay,
Yeah.
here's the big deal, and Mark, that's a great observation. And unless you get a guy who is brilliant with the RPO, I'm just going to say it right now. You guys can lambaste me and bash me all you want in the comments, and I'll welcome it. Bring it. It won't hurt my feelings any. DG is not great at the RPO. DG could pull the ball out and hit the tight end over the middle more than he does. I think he hands it too often.
Yeah.
It's risky. It's risky because if you pull it and it's the wrong read, it could go the other way for 6. I don't think DG wants to make that risk.
Yeah, and the thing is about the O-line aggression, RPO's not going anywhere. It's staying around. Most teams are running it. So you got to figure out a way for your O-line to be aggressive in it. I mean, I know it's tough, but
that entire RPO scheme, the entire RPO scheme is basically dependent on if the quarterback makes the right read.
And that's why you hear Venables say we had opportunities because he probably pulled it down and didn't throw it. And I know we want to all question. A lot of times we do question the play call because rightfully so, it's bad play calling sometimes. But sometimes it is on the quarterback because they did the bad read. And they could have thrown it and they didn't. And so it's not always on the call, especially in an RPO. And you're right, the middle of the field, Baker Mayfield used to dominate the middle of the field on the play action. He would he would know Baker Mayfield would know before he even pulls the ball out, the fullback or the tight end, he's hitting him. I mean, it was so quick.
And I'm going to make a point and observation. I think that this demonstrates and illustrates what we're talking about, guys. There's 2 or 3 times this year where DG and Marcus Major almost fumbled. DG was still trying to decide what to do, whether to pull it. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? It wasn't a clean exchange. Now, I know that happens sometimes with RPO, but it seems to me like DG is not sure what to do. He's not super confident in that RPO.
Yeah, and Mark, great. Hey, I love that idea. Traditional offense with Tatum and Arnold. I love it. Who's going to be the OC, though, if you're running that? It's not – Levy's not – I don't think Levy's running
and
that.
Arnold – I think Arnold is great with the RPO.
Yeah.
Here's the difference with Arnold, guys. With Arnold, if he pulls it out, he can fit the ball in the tight places better than DG can.
He'll also throw it into tight places.
Oh, Mark Andrews by far. I would do anything to have a guy like Mark Andrews in Norman right now.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Worst thing for an offense is what they said about the RPO. What do you think about that, Jeremy?
I think that it's awesome when it works, and I think that it sucks when it doesn't, which is pretty much every offense. But there's a lot of intricacies in the RPO.
I mean, a lot of teams are running the RPO.
Yeah, they are. But here's the thing, Jay. In the RPO offense, the tight end has to be utilized. That's kind of a big deal for the tight end to be utilized in RPO.
Yeah, I agree. They're not using the tight end enough for sure. I mean,
definitely not.
I would love. I mean, they got some backs in the stable there. When you look at guys like Smothers and Hicks, and you got Tatum coming in, I would love to see some 2-back stuff. I mean, I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but
Stubby, his last year at OU, he was used a lot more. Was he always there with Baker, guys?
Yeah, I mean,
I know his last year was, but
he played 2 years with Baker. He played 2 years with Baker.
Texas game, he had a great game, but now he's definitely not used as much as he is in the NFL right now.
Well, I think what he's saying, and if you remember right, 15 to 17, yeah, if you remember right, there would be games where he didn't catch a ball, it felt like. And you were like, where's Andrews at? Now, I don't know if that was on Lincoln or who, but yeah.
Hey, look at USC. They rarely use the tight end.
Yeah. Yeah. Caleb Williams runs that RPO. They got I don't know if y'all watched any of them. Their running back's really good. I like him a lot. Big old bruiser guy.
And they do have an absolute stud at tight end. Yeah, you had D.D. Westbrook, you had C.D. Lamb, you had Marquise Brown, you had Joe Mixon, you had Samaje P. Ryan, you had more and more and more. So it's a little harder to use weapons. But
Hey, I saw Mark's comment, and I was asking Hunter about this earlier. Who was the guy that was a graduate assistant that went with Riley to LSU, USC? Do you remember the coach?
grad assistant,
He went.
offensive guy.
Yeah. Do you remember who I'm talking about?
If I hear his name, I'll know it. But
Yeah, I have you seen all the stuff on Twitter and stuff about Kel Gundy as OC
for
OU?
dude, I would love Kel Gundy as an OC.
It's never going to happen.
Now, I did also. Now, obviously, he's not the sports animal right now, doing some things. But there's some people who still claim that he's on campus a lot. I don't know if there's any truth to that. Who was it?
Who was it, Jackson? He went to Florida. What was his name?
God, I'm drawing the blank. I would take Kel's. Guys, Kel called the plays in the Oregon game, didn't he? The bowl game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Jackson, what was his name? Can you I can't remember it, man.
Yeah, Kel, Jay's with you, granted. Jay doesn't think that Kel would ever come back. I hope he's not giving a lot of pointers to his brother. He still seems to bleed crimson and cream, if you ask me.
Yeah, he made a joke tonight on Twitter about it.
What'd he say?
About something about Halloween costumes. Somebody got him confused for OSU Gundy, and he said, "I'm not that old." He was making a joke about it, but man, it's really killing me. I can't think of that guy's name, but whatever.
Kel did call an absolute master class versus Oregon.
Yeah, I mean, Levy got offered head coaching jobs last year.
Will Johnson?
No,
that's
Will
not
Johnson.
it. No, it's not Ty Darlington.
Ty Darlington, that's it.
He was the lineman at OU.
Yeah, Ty Darlington.
But he was the 56.
He was the offensive analyst under Riley. He would be a good OC in the future.
Yeah, he's not ready for Norman.
I'm not saying he's ready for it now. I'm not saying that at all.
Okay. Look, Jeff Lebby can get a lot of people back on the side if he can open it up a little this week, but I'm not sure DG will. I hope they do.
I think Levy's I think we're gonna be sitting here on Saturday night, 6:30 or 7, with the best offensive called game Levy's called all year. I really do, and I'm not just blowing smoke. I think that's what he's gonna do.
Let me ask the viewers this: over under on how many jet sweeps you want to see Saturday? I'm gonna say I want to see under 3.
Jet sweeps?
How many jet sweeps do you want to see?
I don't want to see a whole lot of them, Jeremy.
And
I don't want to ever see Jalil Farouk in the backfield.
Can we at least do it with Brennan Thompson or a guy with some big-time speed?
Do you think he plays a lot more this week?
Brennan Thompson. 0. I expect Brennan Thompson to get a little more playing time.
I would hope so. He's the guy that can stretch the field. I mean, you want to keep a safety back. That's how you do it.
Every game he's played in, he's caught a deep ball.
Yeah. He's elite speed,
I didn't know he got 6. I didn't know he played 6 plays the other day.
All that last drive, I believe. I mean, I don't remember seeing him out there before that. But
Brennan Thompson, if you're going to run one, put him in. But Gavin Freeman needs to be a north-south guy, a slot coming down on slants, punt returning, and those things. Brennan Thompson's got to maybe be the guy on the edge.
I would agree with that if you're going to run it. I mean, I know it's part of his offense, so we're going to see it. We're probably going to see it early a few times. But to me, that play is used to set up a deep ball or something.
That's my point, Jay.
That's the thing. It's not being ran all the time.
Even the Stoops flare pass should be used to pump that and go deep. And actually, the third play of the game, the pick 6, if he just pumps I know they thought it'd be open early to Farouk.
But he waited too long to throw it to Farouk anyway.
But Nick Anderson's running a post down the field and has his guy beat by 2 yards on that.
Yeah. Hey, you're not. I mean, I think you're preaching to the choir there.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Brennan does every time he plays, he does something. Listen, go watch anybody with elite speed in football. Whoever it is, Tyreek Hill. they're going to get open. You can't guard them with one person.
I didn't know Lori was in Buckeye country, #1 team in the college football playoff, Lori. Hey, that comment about the player rotation.
That's Mark, yeah.
That is spot on. It's like they go to a guy and then you're like, wait, they forgot about so-and-so. That guy hasn't played in 2 weeks or didn't play the whole game.
Or they go into these packages, almost like you would, I don't know, when I coached flag football back when my son was in 1st or 2nd grade and I have a package for a certain formation. Kind of like that last formation, the biggest drive of the game, 3rd and 6, and you don't have Stoops, Farouk, or Nick Anderson on the field. I don't understand that at all.
Yeah, hey, comments. We'll end it pretty soon, but viewers, I want you to comment. Will we see a package with Jackson Arnold this week? I say yes. Or are they going to try to redshirt him? There's no need to redshirt him. He's going pro after 2 years. You don't need to redshirt him.
They're not going to redshirt him. I didn't say that. I just don't know if you're going to see him.
He can be redshirted. He's only played 4 games.
Jeremy, to me, they're not going to do that because of, to me, that would almost send an alarming like there's a quarterback controversy. They're not doing that right now.
I'm not saying controversy. They did it early in the year, Jay. If you got to get your offense going a little bit, you got to do something different.
But if they're going to put him in there and run the freaking Wildcat, I don't want him playing. To me, if
then
you're putting him in there, Jeremy, you're sitting there saying you want a package for him. That's ridiculous, man. Why don't you go be the OC at OU, dude?
Hey, will they hire me with the mustache?
Probably not. Hey, but you're putting Jackson Arnold in for a package. If he's the best quarterback on the team, you're saying, then why do you have a package for him? Why not just throw the normal offense with him?
Because they won't do that. Battering ram, Bastiat. The new Blake Bell, the Belldozer.
I agree with that. I don't want him being a bat. He's not Blake Bell, guys.
Okay, but Jay, go watch the Arkansas State film. He ran really doggone well.
Jeremy,
you are right,
Jeremy, you and Levy, do you and Levy talk on the phone? Maybe you need to be, man, you and Levy are on the same page with Jackson Arnold, I think.
You know what I would do if I had Levy's phone number, Jay? I've already told you what would be said. And that comment about, he needs to be dropping dimes. I went and watched the Arkansas State game, guys. Go watch. He was like 11 for 11. Go watch his passes.
Then why are you saying bring a package in for Jackson Arnold?
Bring him in is what I'm saying.
Okay, bring him. There you go. Wait to finally bow up and say, bring him in, not a package for him.
I'm not saying he's going to start.
You would start him. You would start him against OSU if you were the OC, would you not?
No, I would have had him starting 3 weeks ago.
Texas game?
Look, Dillon Gabriel was great against Texas. Dillon Gabriel's been great before.
Boom. Mic drop, Mark. Mic drop. Dead on.
Wait, what do you mean by this, Mark? Are you saying DG as Trevor Knight in the Sugar Bowl? Or Trevor Knight the rest of the time he was at OU? Because that's kind of what it feels like. It feels like DG had his Trevor Knight moment, and now he's kind of like what Trevor Knight was, where he's a good, manageable quarterback.
Granted, you're asking if we ever fight all the time, and actually,
we don't want to watch a game with us.
Don't watch it. We try to keep it pretty professional on here because it can get pretty ugly on the phone. So, yeah, we do. But yeah.
Yeah, guys, we are Tuesday of Bedlam week. Tomorrow, you do have the softball team has another battle series, guys. So we will be doing a live with battle series talk tomorrow night. And then every night we'll be on at 9:30. But tomorrow we'll be devoted some towards softball because that's what we do on Wednesday nights. But we're going to continue to be on here 7 days a week, 7 nights a week at 9:30. And guys, we love this. This is an absolute dream come true for Jay and I, who have had dreams of being, radio talk show hosts, sports talk. And this has been a blast getting ability to talk to you guys. So thanks again. Keep being part of it. Love having you guys on here. I'm excited. I put the Kansas game behind me. I'm ready for Bedlam. Hope you guys are too.
Is this really Ted Lasso, or is it the Baker Mayfield Fu Manchu for the OSU week?
It's Ted Lasso If I can grow this by Saturday, it'll be there for the Fu
Dude,
Manchu
hey,
Baker. Jay, I expect you to do that as well.
Jeremy, if you grow it, I'll grow it by Saturday. And let's both go with the
I'll
Fu
do Fu
Manchu.
Manchu.
Because it
Fu
was
Manchu.
Baker Mayfield, and who was the backup?
Who was the other quarterback?
Who was the backup with Baker? Hunter, do you know it?
Who was the backup with Baker that did that?
They both had Fu Manchus. Was it the guy that's playing baseball now? No.
No, it wasn't Cody Thomas. Schaefer, maybe? No.
It was Schaefer. Tanner Schaefer, I think.
I think it was Tanner Schaefer, maybe. It wasn't Cody.
I don't think it was Cody, Hunter. I don't know. But
all right.
Jeremy, let's both do it by Saturday, man.
All right, we'll do it. Appreciate you guys. Till next time. Boomer.
Boomer.